All right, picking up where we left off. So this was the picture we had on the board last time. Reason tells us the way the world really truly is. In the 19th century, philosophers, German idealist philosophers would call this the absolute. Nature as it truly is, not nature as kind of a scientific story or a religious story. And this idea that reason would get us to the absolute is kind of the fundamental conviction of Descartes as a rationalist philosopher. The idea is that reason, independently of doing some thinking alone, if you will, independently of doing any kind of empirical science at all, will help us arrive at absolute fundamental truths about the nature of reality. And thereby, through these rational truths about the absolute, it will then help justify the stories that either science or church teaches. Now, the brilliance of Descartes was that he figured, perhaps just as a political matter, it wouldn't be so smart, because it could get you burned at stake, to say, well, the church got it all wrong and science alone gets it right. In fact, Descartes decided, no, I'm going to say that through reason alone, I can prove that both pictures are right. At least parts of both pictures are right. So specifically, and that's why he calls the meditations on first philosophy meditations in which the existence of God and the immortality of the soul are proven. So if you look at the title, at least, of Descartes' Meditations, it looks pretty much like a book on theology. You know, existence of God, immortality of the soul. That's what he's trying to prove. Well, it turns out that's only the church side of the story. Now, this idea of getting at the absolute and sidestepping storytelling and having sort of a direct avenue into the way nature truly ultimately is, that's called metaphysics. Or, in Descartes' words, first philosophy. Now, all right. So, in order to motivate this idea that reason has this direct avenue, of course, he didn't just assert that, he tried to prove it. And what he did was essentially say, look, our sensory knowledge is unreliable. And that was the upshot of Meditation 1, in which he kind of tries to peel away various common sense, sensory avenues toward our knowledge of the external world, and end up in this position where he says only reason alone can teach us something fundamentally true. Now, the difficulty that Descartes realized was that all the other truths, the scientific truths, as well as the church truths, they were, in a way, conditionally true. They weren't absolutely true. They were just kind of based on competing ways of getting at the absolute. Somehow, this direct avenue into the absolute had to be established.